I had a plan this week to wake up in the morning and hit the gym and be productive and get it done. That did not happen. That idea tanked horribly. It really got me thinking of how many of us are obsessed with the idea of being consistent. We are sometimes drilled to think of consistency, and the more that we do it, it leads to being perfect. But that has sometimes a negative connotation to it when we miss a certain day, especially if we have this all or nothing mindset where just missing one session or not being 100% all the time is going to be a hindrance to our progress. Look, I believe that prioritizing longevity over frequency is absolutely more important than just trying to optimize things. For example, if you have this perfect gym program and it says to go 4 times a week and you can do it, but you can only do it for 6 weeks and life happens and you stop completely. Look, the solution then is to make sure that over the long term, you're just going to show up more often, but in the short term, or at least in the week, show up less. 2 sessions a week for 52 weeks equates to so many more gym sessions over time as opposed to just the 4 sessions done in 6 weeks. And this is something that we all tend to see as well, particularly when I speak to a lot of clients about how can we improve your nutrition. Everyone, including myself in the past, have said this: I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to cut out all the ultra processed foods, all the fun foods. Of course, all of these foods are not healthy foods and we should obviously look to cut back on them as much as we can. But sometimes when we veer to the extremes, we become very unrealistic and we forget one very important element. We are all human. Sometimes food just reminds us of this human connection that we do need. For example, an ice cream reminds you of a simpler time when you were a child, or having pizza takes you back to the time when you were in college or university when you got drunk with your friends. When that happens and when you sort of slide off the bandwagon, it is not always a case of how often you slide off. It's a case of how quickly can you get back on again. Many use the excuse of, man, it slid off. I'm just going to find the right time, or I'm going to wait for the motivation to come back again. That is a problem because, as we know, just being consistent with things tends to lead to longer term progress and longevity. Don't view things as a slip up, just view that as being part and puzzle of the progress and the journey. In the end of the day, like, shit happens, but we need to make sure that we're prioritizing longevity, not necessarily being overly consistent in the short term, which can be unsustainable for many. Hopefully this helps. Leave it down in the comments with how are you stuck with your own consistency, and if you do need more helps with things like recipe packs and free resources, check out the links in my bio. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.